McCabe's attorney accidentally confirmed firing McCabe was the exact right thing to do by Cillian Zeal for ConservativeTribune.com. Andrew McCabe's whining like a spoiled child over his firing from the FBI 26 hours before he could retire and collect a full pension has been one of the most entertaining meltdowns in Washington in some time. Not in the least because of the ridiculousness of McCabe's arguments regarding why he shouldn't have been fired. And a recent statement by McCabe's attorney wasn't the least of it, even though they accidentally indicated that Attorney General Jeff Sessions had done exactly the right thing in firing his client. Can you imagine? McCabe, for those of you who have been consumed with the controversy and not the actual reasons for the former deputy director of the FBI was terminated after a report from the Department of Justice's Inspector General found that McCabe had made an unauthorized disclosure to the news media and lacked candor, meaning he lied under oath on multiple occasions during a review of how the FBI conducted its probe into Hillary Clinton's email server, according to a statement by Sessions. Even though the firing was recommended by independent disciplinary officials who were not members of the administration, McCabe pitched a fit and claimed that it was really all Trump's doing, which is false. Trump didn't want him, but it wasn't Trump's doing. This attack on my credibility is part of a larger effort, not just to slander me personally, but to taint the FBI, law enforcement, and intelligence professionals more generally, McCabe said as part of his rant. Yeah, that's why Trump came out and congratulated the good people of the FBI. So right there, then and there, his rant is thrown out the window. It is part of this administration's ongoing war on the FBI and the efforts of special counsel investigators, which continue to this day. Their persistence in this campaign only highlights the importance of the special counsel's work. Yeah, that's why you were fired, because special counsel has nothing on Trump. They already declared that there was no Russian meddling, and he's still going on with this farce of an investigation. I mean, give it a rest. And that wasn't all. Fox News also reported Saturday that McCabe, like Comey before him, kept memos on his dealings with the president and had turned them over to Robert Mueller's investigation. If they're anything like Comey's memos, that means we have another exciting anticlimactic session of Senate hearings to yawn through. McCabe's attorney was the next to wiggle his way into the spotlight because why the heck not? However, while McCabe's actions made him look petty and childish, I would say totally ridiculous, they didn't actually accidentally make the case as to why he shouldn't have been fired. McCabe's attorney, Michael Bromwich, couldn't even clear that low bar. I have never before seen this type of rush to judgment and a rush to summary punishment that we have witnessed in this case, Bromwich said in a Friday statement. The result of this deplorable rush to judgment is to terminate Mr. McCabe before his long-anticipated retirement and deny him of the full pension and retirement benefits he would have otherwise earned through his 21 years of devoted, that kind of devotion we don't need, service to the FBI in this country. Yeah, right. This concerted effort to accelerate the process in order to beat the ticking clock of a scheduled retirement violates any sense of decency and basic principles of fairness, the statement continued. It should make all federal government employees who continue to work in the administration that insults, debases, and abuses them shudder in the knowledge that they could be next. Emphasis added. Oh, well, yes, it should. Ignoring Bromwich's language about the Trump administration insulting, debasing, and abusing people who have done things wrong, This is, after all, McCabe's lawyer. What do you think he's going to say? Bromwich is essentially stating that allowing people who have committed fireable offenses to be fired instead of collecting lifelong pensions is intimidating the government employees who have committed fireable offenses, particularly if those offenses are politically tinged. I totally agree with that statement. And the answer to that is yes, of course it should be. That's the whole point. In both his statement and his lawyer's statement, McCabe and company seem adamant that the fact that the Inspector General's investigation was accelerated in his case is prima facie evidence that it was biased. Yet in their statements, they also prove why the investigation into McCabe was accelerated in the first place. McCabe and his associates admitted that the former deputy director wanted to run out the clock, retire with a full pension, and then smugly grouse about how unfair the horrible Trump administration was while collecting taxpayer-funded paychecks. Very little evidence is provided in all of these statements that McCabe did not provide a lack of candor, which is a serious and fireable offense in the FBI's eyes. Very little evidence has been forthcoming that he didn't make an unauthorized disclosure to the media. No mention was made of the fact that veteran disciplinary officials, not the administration, had made the recommendations to fire him. Those first two things, if McCabe had wanted to exonerate himself, would have been what was foregrounded in his media message in the wake of the firing. Instead, everything from the McCabe camp seems to focus on the fact that he was fired for a fireable offense instead of just being allowed to retire with a full pension, and that this might somehow intimidate other government workers who commit or are accused of committing fireable offenses. Unfortunately, that's exactly why Andrew McCabe should have been fired. If the former deputy director of the FBI thinks he's engendering sympathy through that line of thought, it's yet more proof that McCabe has been so fully ensconced in the entitled moors of bureaucracyville that he can't even utilize or realize when he's making the best argument possible for his own termination. In other words, you're supposed to let the guy lie. And listen, they didn't even release all the text messages. Why do you think they're holding back on these text messages that they sort of lost, supposedly? Because we found out that he was in the insurance policy talking in Andy's office. That alone is politically motivated. He's going out of the scope of his profession. How can that be? No. So why is McCabe's attorney accidentally confirming the firing? I have no idea, because I get so aggravated with the article, I don't even, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, in other words, yeah, I guess he's saying, yeah, he's confirming it because McCabe lied. So in other words, we're allowed to keep criminals on pay for the pension. I mean, really? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.